everybody. Welcome to Take the Black Live, the only show on the internet where myself, Dan Selke of winterscoming.net, and Mia Johnson of dorksideoftheforce.com talk all things fantasy, sci-fi, space lasers, Game of Thrones, Star Wars, Marvel, superheroes, all that nerdy jazz. And today we have, as usual, some exciting news to go over. But first, banter. Mia, how are you?
I'm doing quite well. How are you?
Very solid. A solid 8. I feel pretty good.
That's good. That's good. There's something I want to talk about, but I can't talk about it this week. Dang it.
Yeah, okay.
I'm already jumping ahead to next week at the start of the show. Where's my mind?
I was going to tease this. Mia, who gets all the best access to movies and stuff, saw a hotly anticipated movie that may or may not kind of rhyme with, I'm going to do it, Smang Smee and the Legend of the 11 Rectangles, that she might be able to talk about a little bit. We'll see what we can get out of her later. But first, hello everybody. Hey Julie, hey Christian, hey Nicole, hey Sarah, good to join us. I thought we would start today though with is that okay? Is he gonna like sniper me with that?
No. It's fine. They know people are reviewing the movie, and I have a social tweet out that you
that's
retweeted.
The thing.
So.
It's the weirdest thing because like you're allowed to talk about it on Twitter and like give your general. This was great. I didn't see anybody said it was bad impressions, but you're not allowed to do if you're in this world like the world of embargoes and people telling you what you can and cannot say about certain movies and TV shows that are coming up. It's weirdly specific, and the rules are kind of the lines don't seem to be drawn very sensibly.
Yeah.
It's like The Walking Dead. You can't talk about the episode even though it's out on AMC Plus. Like people have fully seen it. Ordinary folk.
Really?
This, like you can talk about Smang Smee and the Rectangle Legend on Twitter, but you can't talk about it in print. It's I don't think the rules are like super well drawn.
No.
I'm not sure it follows like a like human logic.
No, we'll take that straight to the top.
Exactly, we will. But anyway, Bob Chapek, looking at you. Anyway, though, before we get into any of that, or if we get into any of that, there was some big news that dropped today on the subject of a hotly anticipated fantasy television show coming to Amazon Prime Video this November, and that show is called The Wheel of Time.
Yes.
An epic tale drawn from 15 books by Robert Jordan and Brandon Sanderson about a group of backcountry hillbilly fantasy people who get whisked away in a magical adventure that will change both them and the world. Book series has been around for decades, since 1990. It's finally getting adapted into this big, splashy, Game of Thrones-esque, but don't call it a Game of Thrones-esque, program. And we are finally getting like the first real pristine official looks, courtesy of our colleagues at Entertainment Weekly. That we go through them, Mia, and just see how excited we are for The Wheel of Time on Amazon Prime. And don't worry, I can walk you through who everybody is.
Please.
We'll see how long I take.
All right, let's start the vacation slideshow.
Okay, so what we're looking at here is this is The Wheel of Time show, Amazon Prime. And I want to see if I can name these people from memory, from left to right. I'm just going to test myself. Okay, on the left is Nynaeve, my favorite character. She's like this kind of diminutive woman who just like has this giant personality who dominates everyone around her. She's fun. She's fun. Second from the left, my least favorite character, Matt. He's kind of like this what if Han Solo, but you want to slap him like a childish pop. I don't really like him. Next to him is Lan. He is not a hillbilly. He is a bodyguard of the woman who is in the middle, Moiraine, Rosamund Pike, who's the one they've been really like pushing.
Uh-huh.
She's the Gandalf of the story. She comes to this backwater town, takes all these kids on her wide adventure. They're the Fellowship. She is Gandalf. She is a wizardess, so she can do magic. It's all good for her. Next to that is, what the hell's your name? Egwene. That's her name. Her name is Egwene, and she is kind of like the girl next door. Okay. She's like the country girl, just kind of demure and polite and intelligent and nice, and she's kind of our romantic lead. And then next to her is Perrin. Another good one. He's like the strong, silent type.
Uh-huh.
And he, I think, can turn into a wolf or something like that.
Ooh.
No, he can possess wolves. It's a whole wolf.
Oh, okay.
He has wolf powers. And then finally, we got Randolph Thor, kind of the male romantic lead, who is our main guy.
Wow.
And he's going to be the main character. But you know what? Wheel of Time is a tapestry. It's a journey. and it's about all of them, although he is the main guy.
Just props to you for remembering all of that, first of all.
Yeah, their names are not easy names. Congratulations, people. If you were confused with all the Game of Thrones names, you're going to have a whole new slew of fantasy names to remember.
And I have to get swept into this. No.
I mean, we'll see.
But
we'll see.
it looks like, I want to say how we were saying, it's not, you don't want to call it Game of Thrones. As you can already tell, oh no.
When I was, just because there was the interview, and the showrunner, like, Rafe Judkins, was saying, like, what really did, because Game of Thrones comes up, okay? It's a giant fantasy show in the shadow of Game of Thrones. It's just, this show is made because Game of Thrones succeeded. It's period, flat out, that's the case. But it was almost a little defensive, because they brought it up, and he's like, well, what makes it different than Game of Thrones is that the Wheel of Time had multiple perspectives and a lot of political dimensions, and women were in prominent roles. And I'm like, that describes Game of Thrones pretty well.
Yikes.
Sorry. They are very different series. They're very different tones.
I bet,
The Wheel of Time is closer to Lord of the Rings, closer to a little bit like pure good versus evil. It's not. It's got complications, but it's not Game of Thrones where, like, man is the enemy, sort of like hell is other people. Like, that's Game of Thrones. And Lord of the Rings is more Sauron the Dark Lord is some kind of unknowable evil who will crush you all. It's a little bit closer to that.
Okay.
So it's different, but, like, it's there. Like, I'm not going to act like the influence isn't there. It completely and utterly is.
Yeah.
As Julie says, I have to admit I haven't been able to pick up my books again for a few months. I'm still on book 4. Oh, Julie, I'm catching up to you. I just started book 4.
Oh, the race is on. Wow. Yeah, but I like the costuming. It's different. It does set it apart from most of the kind of regal. And who do we have here?
That is Rand and Egwene. Those are like kind of like... It is one of those shows where there's a lot of characters. They're kind of the main characters.
Okay. And here we have... Oh, no. Okay. There's some people in...
That's exciting. Okay, walk you through this.
Just please
walk
me through
in the Wheel of Time, Moiraine Rosamund Pike is a member of the Aes Sedai Sorceresses. They're a group of all-women magic wielders, because in this world, because of... I'm not going to, like, take hours and explain everything, because we'd be here all day, but women can use magic, and men used to be able to, but then magic poison happens, and now if they use it, they go crazy. So only women can use it, and if men use it, they go insane, and you don't want, like, an insane wizard who can just blast things apart, so they capture dudes who are gone insane, and that's one of those guys is named Logain. And finally, we had the city of Shadar Logoth, which is like an important, sort of like their Weathertop Rivendell moment from Lord of the Rings. I don't remember this. Well, any of you out there, you know what I'm talking about. It's good. They're pushing it. It looks solid. And I guess the question is, like, are people interested and ready for another big, splashy, lengthy fantasy show? That's the real question.
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think, Mia?
Well, I'll give my brief answer. But I think that, it is looking interesting. It is looking very distinct, at least from these photographs from Game of Thrones. And so that at least is a little refreshing to me. Even though it could be scary, it's like, oh, this doesn't quite look like Game of Thrones, and I want something like Game of Thrones. I don't know if people are necessarily saying that. I think we can kind of come into things and say, I want a fresh perspective. I want something new in the realm of fantasy. Maybe not necessarily new, but something that we haven't seen before. And it's long, so...
It is long. I mean, we've always... and again, I'm always kind of bemoaning that we go right to franchises, and they are. Like, we already heard there's, like, an audio Wheel of Time movie in the works. I wouldn't be surprised if they had, like, another series spin-off before too long if this one is a hit. I wish it was just the one thing, but it is... The guys making it seem really, really passionate about it. The cast looks really cool. They're clearly putting... Rosamund Pike is leading it. And all the other ones are nice too, and a very diverse cast too, which is nice. I mean, and that's intentional. We talked before about kind of the whiteness of the fantasy genre in general, kind of going back to old Tolkien, and that's starting to change on TV especially. So that's cool to see. I'm looking forward to it. I want to see it. It's in November, and I'm curious to see whether they can distinguish it enough to make it sort of, find its own audience and become its own thing. That's the challenge they have.
All right. What's in your hand, Dan?
What's in my hand? I'll tell you what's in my hand. At this point in the show, I'd like to take a brief moment and speak to the men in the audience and also the women who know men. So really, I want to talk to everybody. Winter's come and gone, but summer's here right now, and that can mean heat. That can mean visiting beaches. That can mean sweat-related discomfort. To help with all of this, you'll want the Manscaped Performance Package 4.0. This package comes with the Lawnmower 4.0, which makes removing body hair easier than ever before, thanks to its cutting-edge ceramic blade. This is all sponsored, by the way. It has an LED spotlight, and it's waterproof. So if the power goes off while you're in the shower, it's not going to phase you. You can do what you got to do until the job gets done. And that's not the only product that Manscaped has on offer. The Weed Whacker takes care of your pesky nose and ear hair. And the Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant, makes your secret garden smell fragrant and fresh. Want these products for yourself? Get 20% off with the code FANSIDED20 at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with the code FANSIDED20 at manscaped.com. Thank you, Manscaped. Thanks to our partners at Manscaped for that lovely interlude. All right. Any other thoughts on the Wheel of Time? Christian is into it, in the throne. I don't quite get what you mean, Christian.
I think the Manscaped ad where the razor's in the throne.
It is? Oh, it does kind of look like it.
No.
Yeah, sorry. Yes, the graphic,
the
sorry.
video clip.
It is very good. Props to Richard behind the camera for that. That was amazing. All right, Mia, any other thoughts on the Wheel of Time before we move on?
The Wheel of Time. No, yeah, I think my closing thoughts are I'm interested to see how it plays out. Amazon seems to be very, how should I say, confident in this. So, and they haven't had any misses so far. Just because I think they keep their content so tight. It's not like Netflix where they cast a wide net and you've got some hits and misses. So I'm going to bet on Amazon and say that this should be a solid series.
Do you think Jeff Bezos comes to the sense of these Amazon shows and what do you do if basically someone whose fingernail is worth more than every home you've ever had is walking around? I don't know what I would do.
I know, yeah. He enters the board meeting or the writer's room with his, little astronaut suit.
If he comes in, he just owes anybody he sees at least a few $1,000s. There's just no other reason not to do it.
Unfortunately, that ain't gonna happen. But yeah, I know. It makes me wonder how much, when you've got Disney CEO or you got Kevin Feige or Kathleen Kennedy, kind of what they have to do. Bob Chapek would be obviously up at the top. He has to be involved in everything.
But at least they run media studios.
Right.
I don't know what you do if Jeff Bezos shows up.
Looks, you guys make TV shows here? I didn't know we did that.
Well, it's the thing because he has a power to just say, I don't like it, but he has no qualifications. It's weird.
Yeah, well, we shall see. Someone has been running Amazon Prime Video pretty well, though, so I'll give them that.
That's true. Anyway, moving on. Well, what else we talk about today, Mia? Because there's a lot of news coming out today.
Yeah. Well,
including about a little movie called Marvel's Eternals. Marvel, they're having a pretty good decade.
Jeez, yeah, I'm about to have a stroke because I literally saw The Legend of the 11 Rectangles yesterday. And then I wake up today and Entertainment Weekly has a feature on the Eternals, and I'm like, I can't get any rest, and they're not going to let us rest as far as Marvel is concerned. So yeah, Entertainment Weekly, competing with themselves, put out both the Wheel of Time feature and this gigantic Eternals feature today, and it's got the whole cast. I have to go back.
It's a big cast.
Yeah, we've got Gemma Chan.
I'll let you mispronounce
who plays, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have the cheat sheet. Who plays Cersei, and then next we have our favorite Richard Madden, who plays Icarus. Following him is Kumail Nanjiani, who I'm really excited to see as the character named Kingo. Next, we have Leah McHugh, who plays this cute little preteen hero called Sprite.
preteen, but she's actually like 1,000 million years
Yeah.
old, right? They all are.
It's like, yeah, they're like ageless, but they also have like, one is like Peter Pan and the other is like Gandalf or Dumbledore, how old they are, but they still look like Kumail and Johnny, but hey, props to them. Here we have Brian on the right is Brian Tyree Henry, who plays, I think it's Fastos or something like that. I really loved him in Atlanta, so I was happy to see him inducted into here. Let's see, who are we going? Okay, bottom. We're going to Lauren Ritloff, who plays Makari. I know nothing about this character. Apparently, she's from The Walking Dead. That's what Entertainment Weekly says. I have not kept up with it. Okay.
She's fast.
Yay, the fast character. Oh, I can tell by her stance.
Yes, you can.
Okay, let's continue. This is actor Barry Keoghan. I hate that I butchered that. He's in Dunkirk. What's that? We're a loopy day. He plays the character Druig, and it seems like he'd been really in demand recently, and so, or is this the next actor I'm talking about? No. He was very much in demand, and he was like, "This is the role I'm going to take. I've been very much in demand. I'm going to take this role."
No, Dunkirk sucked.
But it's like,
well, it did.
Okay, we're almost done with the roll call. Next, we have Don Lee, who plays the character Gilgamesh. He is extremely powerful and the strongest warrior of the Eternals. You can tell by his armor. And here we have Selma Hayek as, I guess it's Ajak, Ajak, and she kind of looks like she's got I'll go with that one. Looks like she's looking like Scarlet Witch almost.
Oh yeah, a little bit.
With the costume and the headpiece. I like that a lot. And finally, we'll go to the last one, who is Angelina Jolie. And she's looking like she's straight out of The Boys or something with this kind of... It's like a classic hero costume. She plays Thena. Angelina Jolie said it's certainly the biggest thing she's ever done, which is interesting, and it's nuts. And she likes being part of this crazy family because she's like, I've got like a crazy weird family, and I was like, well, that's great. And Angelina Jolie, you're just like one of us. So that is the
what a fun thing for her to say.
Yeah.
Never mind.
I know.
I don't have a good enough memory to remember the weird stuff. I have a feeling it was odd, but I don't remember it well enough. Okay, I mean, it's nice that there's a giant cast.
10 main characters. Like,
don't forget Kit Harington as Dane Whitman.
Right, he's going to play the love interest to Gemma Chan, she's kind of like Wonder Woman. She is a museum curator by day, and I think there's like a love triangle with her and Richard Madden or something like that.
Yeah, so it'll be Jon Snow and Robb Stark fighting over Ms. Chan.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to go there.
Yeah, so I still like barely have a clue about what this movie is going to be about. And the director is Chloe Zhao, right? And she was kind of saying...
Oscar winner, Chloe Zhao.
I know, which is weird because it was like... Even Kevin Feige had mentioned in this article, he was like, she's kind of like this art house director, and she's never really done any, huge scale projects like this. But of course, gotta trust Kevin Feige's confidence, and he says she really knows a lot about Marvel Comics and even Star Wars and like manga. So she's a nerd. This movie's in good hands, and I'm just excited to see where it goes. They say it's gonna be another, it's from Jack Kirby, doing all those crazy psychedelics in the 70s and all those sorts of things like Doctor Strange. So I don't know what to expect from this film.
I mean, I like the trailer a lot. Like, my concern with something like this is always Chloe Zhao is obviously a huge talent. Like, Nomadland was great. And watching the trailer, I did see her stamp. It's like kind of that Twilight, Half-Light thing she likes, like the big giant location shoot. She's very kind of tactile, and it doesn't feel artificial.
Right, yeah, she said she wanted to kind of minimize the use of CGI and have like these big sets,
And I felt that watching it. And it seems like a different kind of Marvel movie. It's like this millennia, what's the word for thousands of years? Is that millennia?
Yeah.
Whatever. 7,000 year time frame on this. These characters are like super old. So it's big, it's ambitious. But the thing with Marvel is always, can you be creative and interesting and put your stamp on it while still being part of the machine. Because we know you have your boxes to check. Like you have the things you got to do. So can you make an interesting story in a movie within knowing that there are these confines? And I think some people do it better than others. Like somehow James Gunn seemed to kind of manage to like make movies that seem to kind of stand on their own, that also are contributing to this big thing. And Chloe Zhao again is a really interesting filmmaker, and I hope she has like the ability to walk that line, which is I think trickier than it looks.
Yeah. I was initially skeptical about, especially just this phase 4 as a whole, because we're again entering kind of something where we've got these new characters like Shangxi and the 10 Eternals that they're gonna drop on us, and so it's not like we're getting another. Well, we are getting another Thor, but we are losing Tony Stark, we're losing Captain America, so introducing new characters who we don't really know a lot about, kind of doing a genre change like with Shang-Chi, is just by the trailers you can see it's more of like stylistically like a martial arts film.
Yeah.
In this one, again, you've never had, well, save for Infinity War, but where all at once we've had 10 characters who are starting out and
all
brand new like that. So I will, if I can say based off of, and this is just coming from my tweet, that I was pleasantly surprised by Shang-Chi. That at first I didn't have confidence, and I was like, I don't know if Marvel can pull it off and bring these new characters, but after seeing that movie, I have a lot more hope for Eternals, just in the way where I'm like, okay, I'm still open to getting these new characters, seeing these new stories play out, and at the end of the day, it all seamlessly looping back into the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
All right, here's where we tempt fate and see if we can, if Disney is mad at us. I'll ask you a question. See, look, if you can respond, you can respond. If you can't, you can't. Okay. So you saw Shang-Chi. That just happens. That's not a spoiler. She saw Shang-Chi in Legend of the Ten Rings. I know you can't tell us much, and I know that you liked it a lot. So says your tweet. What about it was kind of different enough that it kind of overcame your skepticism?
Ew, that's a good question. To me, this story was a little more, and maybe if I use Black Widow as a background, I'll get in less trouble. The story was a lot more rounded out. It felt a lot more grounded, and it had a lot of emotional stakes in it compared to Black Widow, which really tried, but it just came off as surface level and action first and almost like an afterthought, whereas this movie felt a little more grounded. Like, it was very emotional. There's some emotional scenes.
Oh, I like that.
And as far as as far as character studies go, I think it was kind of just this beautiful introduction of the character, and I think it was handled really well by the director. So
introduction. So you're spoiling that he lives.
Well, introduction by saying that he gets introduced into the Marvel Cinematic Universe via this movie, which was already apparent from the start.
I think you spoiled that he survives the whole thing. That's what I'm taking from it. I didn't say it, Disney. Don't blame me. No. Good. I think it was really great. I think it was a great walking line. Can we use that on like Twitter? In like a video clip?
Maybe we can hold it till Monday. We'll see.
We'll see.
I'll talk to my lawyers. I was a little more generous than I wanted to be, but no, yeah, I do have this kind of optimism now because I was blown away at how they were just able to continuously keep telling another good story and not just a kind of, but I think it's a fresh new story. Like, we've seen the whole Uncle Ben thing. We've seen whatever else happens in the MCU. So this was something that I had never seen before. It's familiar in some senses because there's always going to be familiar themes about family and love and loss and all these sorts of things. But the Disney drones, I've got to wrap it up. But there's some good. I hear sirens outside, like literally. But literally, there's some great unexpected twists in the story. I could have tweeted that. Cool. I just didn't. So this is just an unsent tweet.
Okay, just keep it between us, guys.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
Don't tell anybody. And if your uncle works at Disney, just keep it on the down low. All right, as Nicole says, super excited for Eternals. I love prehistory and early history, and we don't get to watch it on screen nearly often enough.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Yeah, that'd be cool if we like see Viking times, or prehistory.
It's going to be spanning
like the Bronze Age.
7,000 years. So Jesus might be a character in the MCU at this rate.
Javier Bardem. That'd be cool.
If they can have Thor, then we can have, I'm not going to cross that line.
What a fun show we're having today.
Oh, yeah. So, Eternals, it looks like it's something new, but again, I still have confidence in Marvel. So, coming out, I think, November 3rd. So, no rest. It's Shangxi in September. Then in November, it's that. And then December is Far From Home. So, it's a packed year, and we're not done yet.
All right. Well, before we get to watch all of that stuff, let's go to our next segment that we love for you to participate in. As we always do every week. What are we watching? What are we watching? Do-do-do-do. What are we watching? How about you? All right, Mia, I'll go first.
Yes, please.
Okay. I'm not sure if you've been watching. I finished The White Lotus on HBO, which is a drama about a luxury hotel in Hawaii and kind of the very rich clientele who come in, by Mike White, the guy who did Enlightened. I finished it last night, and if you haven't watched it, if you have HBO Max or HBO and you're interested in kind of a not sci-fi, not fantasy, just drama, it was good. It was really good. Yeah. It was funny. It was very cringy though. The whole thing is about, these hotel workers catering to these kind of guests who have these sort of outrageous demands, and it's funny because kind of like the gap between what they should be doing and how they are acting. But it's one of the things that where the humor comes from, like, oh God, this is so awkward, like these situations. Okay. But very, very good. Jennifer Coolidge was great. She plays like this kind of daffy, older, in her own words, alcoholic lunatic who is kind of here to scatter her mother's ashes, and she's like really emotionally needy and kind of bothering everybody, but funny and interesting, and just really, really good all around. I enjoyed it quite a bit. Are you interested at all?
I would have to watch the trailer again because I thought I saw something and it said White Lotus. I was like, oh, why aren't I watching this? But then as I kept seeing more coverage of it, I'm like, did I see the same thing? So not to say that it's not great, because I've seen a lot of good reviews about it recently. Yeah. And it looked short, too. It was
6 episodes.
6 episodes.
And they did renew it, which I didn't know it was that kind of show. I thought it would be like a one-and-done sort of mini-series. But it's coming back.
Yeah, if there's the demand for it, yeah, why not? Julie says White Lotus was a bit strange, but I quite liked it.
It was a bit strange. It's a satire. That's the high-minded word for it. It's about what are our responsibilities vis-a-vis wealth, inequality, luxury, those fun questions, but told as a family drama that also gets a lot of cringe humor along the way.
Okay.
So it goes down pretty easy, but it was a fun and sometimes thought-provoking watch.
Oh, that sounds really good.
And you finished Star Wars The Bad Batch.
Yeah.
That thing is over now, right? The first season?
It is over, yeah. 16 episodes, no more episodes left. It was quite long, but it was nice to have something to just kind of continuously have fresh in the world of Star Wars. I think it's something where it's one of those, because it is a cartoon series, it's like by far not even close to as popular as The Mandalorian, and I'm assuming the Book of Boba Fett is going to eclipse this too in December. But I think for what it's worth, the animation fans, because there's people who are like really, really into the Star Wars animation, and I'm still getting there.
That's true.
Yeah, I'm still getting there myself, but this one was, for what it's worth, enjoyable for the most part. What I do like is that there is this lore building. So, they're talking about the clones and for some reason in the prequels, all the soldiers are clones. And then all of a sudden, when you get to the original trilogies, they're all human. So you're like, well, what happened to the clones? You had like thousands of clones, you can't just go send them all to the farm upstate. So that's what the Bad Batch is trying to do, is fill in this gap. And I've personally been like, I wouldn't mind if I maybe didn't have this series and you just kind of told me what happened to the clones and, like maybe a 5-minute little spiel. But I do get it that there are these characters who people grew attached to in the Clone Wars and like Captain Rex and all these people. And so you kind of want to see what happens to them next. So it's a different perspective. I think still what sets it apart from the Clone Wars, though, is you're missing like Anakin Skywalker and Obi-Wan, who are these legacy characters that you really care for.
But you get this little blonde moppet.
I might be in the minority here. Omega is not my favorite character.
In this show, you guys, it's like about 5 battle-hardened clones.
Yeah.
And then they add in like a precocious 10-year-old. Is that the deal?
Yeah, and she's kind of the voice of reason, but it's really like, why every time they do something, it's like, oh, this character, something is about to blow up, but we've got to go save a droid, or that'll be her like, but we have to go save the droid or else. And it's like, no, just let the thing die and get out of there so everyone else lives. I have that moment every single time.
It's a very 90s sitcom move where it's like, you want to refresh audience interest, so you add like a young character.
Yeah, for sure.
Like the second cousin on the Cosby Show comes to live with them or whatever.
Yes, that she's the Raven Simone of the Star Wars.
That's the one, yes.
So, I think that if it gets a little more in depth, because again, it's still in a way maybe appeals to children, so I get it. But I was like, at some point they're going to have to learn their lesson. You can't always run into the burning building, to save the droid or to save this, insignificant thing. But otherwise, I'm being crabby, but I still kind of enjoyed the run either way.
I'm glad.
Yeah, so season 2 is coming next year, and I'll be looking out for that.
As Nicole says, a bit of a lull in TV at the moment, but Chapel is starting this Sunday, so I'll be watching that. That looks pretty good, Adrian Brody and Stephen King. I mean, I don't know if that's a big lull. Like, I liked The White Lotus. We just got screeners for Foundation on Apple TV+. I'm looking forward to that. That's a big Isaac Asimov. That's like their Game of Thrones swing, like their big adaptation. I'm looking forward to see how they're doing that. I haven't read Isaac Asimov. I'm not that cultured, but I am curious to see what the hubbub is about. Yeah. Maybe I'll pick it up. There's a lot to read. Yeah. Leave me alone. Also, I just had to plug this again. I know I brought up Warrior a bunch of times on this show, the HBO Max show about kind of the Chinatown gangland wars of the 1870s, I want to say, in San Francisco. I'm almost at the end. Mia, it's so good. It's so good.
I know.
I watched the penultimate episode of season 2, and that's how many seasons there are. There's like one more.
Okay.
And it was this big kind of Game of Thrones-esque battle episode where it was like mob versus mob in Chinatown. And it was incredible, the stuff they did with it. Just the intensity of the violence. And you know all the characters well, so you care about them at this point. I was really afraid for them. Mm-hmm. Such a good show. And I'm very happy that HBO picked it up for a 3rd season.
That's good.
It wasn't like, I don't remember, like Showtime or Stars. And I think they let it go because who has that kind of money? But HBO Max is like, we got content, so we can pick it up. Very, very happy about that. If you haven't watched Warrior, I recommend it.
Great. Yeah. That one I have to. I remember that one was like the one you told me. It sounded really good. So I'm glad you made me remember. I meant to ask you, have you ever...
Someone's in Shangxi. I forget which of the main characters it is.
Oh, by the way, did I tell you, or did I... Well, tomorrow I have an interview for Shangxi with it's the character who plays his sister. So she's kind of like a rising star here, but she has a really, really prominent role in the movie. When they told me who she was, I was like, okay, she's just going to have like a little speaking role here. But she was like a really, really big role in this. So I'm excited to talk to her about that. She plays a sister. And then hopefully, check out Wick for the interview. I'm assuming we'll have it next week or maybe closer to when the movie comes out. So that should be fun.
We'll see. And our final segment, as always, is the Wick News Lightning Round, where we go back and forth. We have 20 seconds each to react to a piece of news that we just didn't have time to stick into the main story. And we're just going to distill this, break it down, and give you the information you need and the analysis you need in a lightning quick fashion. All right, I think I arranged this so you talk to me first. Yes, okay.
All right. So this goes out to you, Dan.
Okay.
So Amazon's The Lord of the Rings series leaves New Zealand for season 2.
That's sad because Lord of the Rings and New Zealand are very closely associated. Like that's where the movies were filmed, the Peter Jackson movies, and now this Amazon show, which cost like $1 jillion, filmed season 1 there, and now it's leaving. And even Elijah Wood was like, "Oh, that's terrible."
Aw.
It's too bad because it's going to the UK, and that already has a lot of money. And New Zealand just, it's a smaller country they're great at COVID, and there we go.
Woohoo. Not the great at COVID part, but
No, that's good. They're
awful
great at
timing.
COVID. By
Great
which
or-
I mean
Oh.
they have done a lot to like tamp down
Okay,
on
that one.
spread.
Okay. I'm like, man, those people in New Zealand are practically
There was
Florida.
like one case, and like they put lockdown into
Yeah, I
effect.
saw that headline.
Which could be why they're leaving. Maybe that's like they don't want to deal with the rules or something. I don't know. I don't know about that. Okay.
Okay.
All right, Mia, what do you think of the new trailer for the television program Star Wars Visions, premiering September 22nd?
Yeah, so this is really cool. So this is Star Wars anime. It's something that we've never gotten before. And though I vowed to swear off anime for the rest of my life, I will
did?
be watching this. And it's 9 episodes. They're all anthologies. It's all standalone, so it should be easily digestible. Huge voice cast. I think Neil Patrick Harris. Lots of great people there. So, yeah.
I think he's doing it on 8 seconds. It didn't feel like 20 seconds. It just feels so short. I just want to talk
I
some more.
know. Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. Oh, you've got me saying this, Dan. Dune
You don't gotta
Director.
read You're going to say the Dune Director.
The Dune Director is hopeful he'll get to make part 2. According to it says, Zendaya's character will be the protagonist.
Okay, too much to think about this. Dune is a big sci-fi movie coming in October. Looking forward to it a lot. Denis Villeneuve is the director. The weird thing is they're making the first half of the movie, not the second half, which is bizarre because what if the first half doesn't do well? Then you just have half a movie that just doesn't do anything. As far as Zendaya's character trying to be the protagonist, that's a little odd because the book she's there, but she's very much like.
We conclude that it is odd. All right.
It is odd. Okay. All right. Mia, The Mandalorian season 3 starts shooting next month. You happy?
Woohoo. Yeah, this is exciting. It's weird to see this is the first year that we're going to go without The Mandalorian because the Book of Boba Fett is coming out.
yeah.
So that I've heard that's kind of like The Mandalorian season 2.5. It'll move into The Mandalorian season 3. We should see some great stuff. I want to see Luke Skywalker, Mark Hamill, and more Baby Yoda. So eventually we'll get that in 2022.
Nice. Okay.
Let's see. This is a quick one. So Dark City is becoming a series. Tell me about that.
Dark City, really cool movie from 1998. Alex Porras, the guy who did The Crow. Like, have you ever seen it? Have you ever heard of it?
Nope.
Okay, it's really good. It's like a sci-fi noir horror drama thing with like Jennifer Connelly, Rufus Sewell, and William Hurt. Really, really good. Really, really cool. And I could see it being a good TV series. So I'm in favor of that, and I would watch it wherever it ends up.
Ta-da.
Nice. All right. Next story. Kira, Emilia Clarke's character from Solo: A Star Wars Story, is getting her own comic series called Crimson Reign. Good news?
Yeah, it's really good news because people are really, at least the Star Wars fans, are demanding like more Kira content, and we would love to see Emilia Clarke back in live action. So
Sure.
maybe eventually like a Solo 2 or a spinoff, who knows? But at least for now, this is based on the crime syndicate Crimson Dawn, which was kind of run by Maul and Drain Voss, who's Paul Bettany. So, yeah.
There goes.
All right, and so, Dan, Netflix reveals the live-action cast of its Avatar: The Last Airbender remake. Here they are. Here's our Picture Jeopardy question.
This is cool. I'm not going to read the names because only 20 seconds, but this show has been kind of in limbo for a while, and I wasn't sure if it's actually going to get made. But they're making it. They're casting people. I'm interested. The original show is so good. This is like one of the shows, like, you don't really need a remake, like a live-action remake, but I am curious to see what they could do with it, or if they could improve it. That felt like, give me 3 seconds. Only 3 seconds.
All right, well, this is our last one.
Okay. Mia, Australian actor Sam Reid is going to play Lestat in AMC's Interview with the Vampire show. Are you a fan of the vampires?
I can get back into the vampires because I was definitely into Twilight, and this guy Sam Reed is a looker. I was looking him up myself, and I'm like, okay, I'm a little interested. And it's AMC, like we said, AMC can never really do wrong with like The Walking Dead and all of that stuff. So this one should be pretty good.
Yeah, and Anne Rice's vampires, they get down, so they do it a lot. So this show is probably going to be really filthy.
Oh, my goodness.
Which will be fun. As Nicole says, Avatar Airbender is my favorite animated show. Mine too, Nicole. Honest to God, If I didn't like my favorite animated show, I have watched some anime in my life. Yeah, well, I didn't think about it. Definitely up there. I like it a lot. Do you think, Nicole, that they need to do a live-action remake? What do you think? I'd be interested in hearing from another Last Airbender fan. Would you watch a live-action Last Airbender remake? Because you're getting one. I'm just not sure whether you'd watch it or not. And as Julie says, you should give them 22 seconds, Richard. And I partly agree, but mainly I don't, because the whole point is that we have to be squelched and crushed.
We get better every time. It's like training for the Olympics. You get better and better, and you set your record.
Worse. I think it's getting better.
We had 1 week where we were hitting it every week, every single
true.
point on the mark. So we'll get there. That's teamwork.
Thank you, Mia. I appreciate that. As Nicole says, Nicole would be interested to see it. I'm interested too. So yeah, I probably won't be around for a while, but when I watch it, I'll be curious. Well, thanks so much, Mia. This has been a fun show.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I enjoyed talking about all of this stuff, cramming it into my mind.
Too. And we do new shows, live shows, every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time here on the Winter Is Coming Facebook page and the Winter Is Coming YouTube page. And after that, our shows get turned into podcasts, and you can listen to those at your leisure at Google Play, iTunes, wherever podcasts are available. We love talking here with you. We love seeing you every week. We'd love to see you next week, so come on back next Wednesday, 4 p.m. Central Time, and we'll talk some more about sci-fi, fantasy, movie, TV, anything we like. Thanks a lot. Goodbye.
Bye.